Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about the armored, weaponized war Dune Buggy. That's right, one of the new vehicles that Rockstar kind of showed off in their last batch of screenshots, talking about some details, features, and what it could be like when it arrives in Gunrunning in Grand Theft Auto Online. So I don't know, but I'm getting the vibe that not a lot of people are totally in love with this vehicle. Maybe it's being overshadowed by everything else, but as far as that newswire went, it was like one of two of the new vehicles that was shown off, if you include like the trailer that had the giant anti-air missile thing, and it was pretty awesome. So this is the first screenshot in which it was shown off in, driving right next to the MOC, and there's a couple things that I noticed here. Number one, this looks to be very customizable. It almost looks as if it has like a wide body kit on there. It has custom wheels. It has a shovel and a fire axe on the hood. I'm not sure if that's an accessory or something that'll be useful. A mounted MG turret on the passenger side that, as we'll see later, looks to be controlled by the passenger. And then a bunch of gear hanging off of the back, like big bags and a spare tire on the back. And it also has two combat MGs strapped to the sides of the buggies. Again, I don't know if that's just aesthetics or if that will actually be useful, like you can get quicker access to a combat MG. So that's the first screenshot right there. Really, really cool stuff. And we can obviously see our lady driving it, which is pretty cool. Now we can also tell that it is a pretty cool woodland style livery, and it also has no windscreen as well. This is actually something I did not catch in my first kind of breakdown of this analysis, is it doesn't have any like windscreen bullet protection or bullet resistance right there. So that's pretty cool. If we move on to the second screenshot, and by the way, I don't know where this one is located. I think it's located near Trevor's airfield, as there's like a red little sign in the background. I thought it might be like the Ron billboard or something like that. But this actually shows off a couple unique different aspects. Number one, we can see it as a different livery, so that's confirmed customization. Number two, it has different upgrades with the tire and everything else covered by this kind of brown yellow tarp. Again, pretty interesting. But also on the driver's side, you can see that there is now like this kind of mesh metal that would be protecting the driver. That wasn't there in the first screenshot. And we obviously know that the passenger is going to be the one that controls the minigun. And I personally believe that this is going to be like our entry-level vehicle into the gun running stuff. This is like the first one they give us. I mean, it is a Dune Buggy after all. It has been pretty heavily modified. It has like an actual roof on there, has an actual side. So this is going to be a pretty cool vehicle. And I've actually installed 3 epic mods that will give us a good idea of, number one, how the weaponization of this vehicle is going to work. Number two, possibly how the customization could work. And then 3, a little bit more of what we maybe haven't seen regarding this vehicle. Now, yesterday's gun running trailer did give us a little bit more insight on this vehicle, which is actually pretty cool. Out of all the vehicles Rockstar showed off, they seem to feature this one a lot. It was seen in multiple different shots. In this first one, it was sitting amongst a field of other vehicles. We can see the spade and the fire axe is still on there, as well as some of the accessories and other features of this buggy that are on there too. So really, really cool stuff. It also has a mounted MG on there, which we'll actually see change in a little bit. We also see it drive inside of the MOC, which is pretty cool. It's the only vehicle we see do that, and it's also the only one that we see getting worked on inside. So some of the vehicles are pretty big in size, so I wonder if only certain ones, like the buggy, will be able to be fit inside of the MOC. But again, pretty cool stuff right there. And you can also see that it is mounted with a minigun, which is pretty cool, which means we'll be able to change that. And then really the final time we see it is what I believe is for a weaponized vehicle mission. So very similar to what we got import-export with the special vehicle missions. It looks like we're chasing a group of Lost MC bikers through the Palito Forest, which is actually kind of cool. And same thing here, that all the buggies in this shots have miniguns attached to them, which is really epic. So I don't know if that's like their final form or just a major upgrade, but regardless, those are some pretty cool shots of the Dune Buggy in action. The weaponized buggy is going to be amazing, and I definitely cannot wait to get my hands on this. So let's jump into it right now. This is the first mod that I've actually installed, and this one to me shows off the weaponry really perfectly. So you can see on the passenger side there is this mounted machine gun that is controlled by the passenger. Also on the back there seems to be like this third minigun. I don't know if that will be a customization option for the actual war buggy that we get. It kind of seems as if it's only going to be a 2-seater and not a 3. That would make it seem a little bit more like a technical, but regardless, still pretty cool, and that is like a perfect example of how I think this buggy is going to work. So I ended up getting a friend. I guess I just spawned like a random pedestrian, and although he cannot control the gun because that's not programmed in, we can drive this vehicle and I can shoot it like I was controlling it, which is actually pretty cool, and it gives you a good idea of how it's going to look, especially in first person with that gun blocking the way and all the other things that could be going on. So I think that right there is pretty awesome. And as far as the performance of the buggy goes, the Dune Buggy has never been all that quick. Yes, you can like upgrade it as far as getting better armor and brakes and transmission and stuff like that, but it's never been all that fast. So I do wonder how the performance of this vehicle is going to work, especially with all these weaponized and armored upgrades on there. Is it going to be somewhat quicker? Is it going to be somewhat slower? I guess we are just really going to have to wait and see and find out here. But anyways, that is the first one. It really, in my opinion, gives us a great idea at how the weapon system of this buggy could work. Now, moving on, the second one gives us a really good idea of possibly some of the customization as well as the handling too. So this is the second mod that I've installed. Again, this is a little bit more of like a classic Baja buggy, which I think is pretty cool. It has epic customization in terms of liveries, which we obviously know we're going to have liveries on this. I don't know if they're going to be as, race car like the ones you see right here, but I also think we could get other customization mods like roll cages, different things like that. But I also installed a handling mod for this vehicle, and as we test it out right here, you can see it's really bouncy, it's really bumpy, it's really jumpy, and I wonder if the war buggy will kind of perform in the same way, or if it'll be very, very similar to the regular Dune Buggy that we have right now, that in my opinion is a little bit stiff and doesn't necessarily act totally as a buggy should. Regardless, this one was a lot of fun to drive around, and I think this is a very enjoyable vehicle, and if the handling and the upgrade and the look is anything like this, then I definitely think this is going to be a pretty cool vehicle. And our final mod today shows off what I would call this buggy's final form. Now, this is the one I'm least skeptical about. This would be like the best possible upgrade for the buggy. So this one, as you can see here, has some features of the things we've seen in the screenshots, like the bags and the tarps hanging off the side, as well as the gasoline canisters and spare tires on the back. But it has a 3-passenger setup with the minigun mounted on the top, and it would be controlled by someone not sitting in the front seats of the car. So I think, like I said, this one could be the final form, although at this point you're more getting closer to a technical than a Dune Buggy, but I still think this could be epic. It still has that Dune Buggy kind of shape with the paneling on the outside. I think this is just a really cool look right here. And same thing with the first buggy. I tried to put some guys in the front and the back, but apparently they didn't know how to shoot the gun or really help at all, and all they ended up doing was getting shot out at the end. But regardless, I still think this is epic. I'm very excited about the weaponized armored Dune Buggy. I wonder how much it's going to cost too, because all the other vehicles I think are going to have a relatively expensive price range. Like the Tampa in general, not a cheap vehicle. The Rhino tank, not a cheap vehicle. I associate the MOC probably closest to the Brick 8 in the Dune. Not a cheap vehicle. However, the Dune Buggy is. So I wonder if this is going to be like the least expensive item from the Gunrunning update. So for many of us, this might end up being our first purchase because of how cheap it's going to be. And it might be a crucial aspect of our early gun running mission. So that's why I wanted to make this video, because a lot of people, in my opinion, are ignoring this, maybe because it's a buggy after all. But it still, in my opinion, has a lot of potential, and I really think it's pretty cool. So let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more on this epic vehicle in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go and enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.